Hello, my friends. We are back again, and we are live, like legitimately live for the first time in a long time. Oh my goodness gracious, are you in for a just incredibly strange and amazing show? I am your host. I am Jacob Israel, God's champion today, as the merch has finally arrived. And I say perfect timing, because you're going to find out on this show that there's another champion that's supposed to arrive tomorrow. Yeah, there's so many weird things going on. I can't wait to share it all with you. Everybody's waiting for Trump's arrest. But there's also like an alien mothership that's sending probes. There's weird things that have been discovered in the depths of the sea. It is a strange time to be alive. Let's take a look at that thumbnail. 1776, what is that about? And we already have a donation. Oh my goodness gracious, thank you very much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Let's see who that was. Genius by birth, of course, it was you. You see, now I have access to the live chat. See, I've upgraded. I have my old laptop here so I can keep an eye on what's going on in the live chat. Have you given it a thumbs up yet? Are you new to Jacob's Ladder? If you are, tell me in the live chat, because I'm excited that you're here. I just did a show with The Donut, with Tommy Truthful, and with Guy Tal from Israel. It was a great show. It's kind of like a great precursor for today's show, because if you look at this, 1776, well, guess what? That's Baron Trump. He's almost like a giant. He's very tall. He's almost 7 feet tall. Donald Trump is very tall too, but he just turned 17 just like yesterday. I think it was yesterday. 321. That's right. 321, the equinox. He turned 17 years old. And of course, Donald Trump is 76 years old. And of course, aliens. Whoa, what a day. They said that today was going to be the arrest of the Trumpster. Now, I said to a lot of people, and a lot of people are already watching, I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited that it's actually working, because I didn't know. I've been having some issues with my laptop. So happy that it's working, though. They said it was going to be the other day, then they said, oh, it's going to be today, and they've said a lot of things, right? But the latest news is we don't really know. I kind of put on my last show, let's take a look at this right over here. My last show, bottom left-hand corner, gotcha. Witch hunt, right? I kind of said, yeah, I don't think he's going to be arrested. I was putting it out there. Not like saying that I knew. I'm not like saying I know people. I'm just saying I really didn't want that to happen. I almost wanted to put out positivity out there. Like, I wanted to see it differently. I wanted to imagine that my faith could somehow create maybe things to be a little bit different. Because the way things are today, it's very spooky. And if he was to be arrested and he was to get that perp warp walk, it would not be a great thing. A lot of people are ready. They're already protesting. But there's so much more to it. If you haven't seen that show, Witch Hunt, the Trump arrest isn't what you think, you need to check it out. Because today's the 322 day. And I love you too, The Bridge. Isn't this great that I can watch you now? At the same time, you'd think that I've been doing this since 2008. I'd learn how to do a live stream where I can interact with you. Well, now I can see you. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. This show, there's so many weird things that are going on. So many things that are connected. It's just too much. It's too much. That's why I figured we needed to do a live show. Because I know you miss me live, right? This is me right now live. You're all there live. That's right. Asta just said Trump is 76. That's right. That's the whole point of the show. 1776. You know when that was? That was like a reset. That was like a great reset back in the day. We have almost 1,000 people watching already. I can't imagine where we're going to be. Are we going to break records today? I sure hope so. Let's take a look at some of this news here. Okay. So as of just a little while ago, Lindsey Graham is warning that Trump's arrest would blow up the country. They're already making like deep fakes, right? How many people have seen those deep fakes? Let me know in the chat. So many of them. That's right, Watchmen. We are live. That's right, Karen. We are live. Isn't this awesome? I missed you too, William. I'm so happy you're all here. Michael Cohen's got mixed feelings on Trump being arrested. Michael Cohen. You know Stormy Daniels. That's the girl in the thumbnail in the bottom left, bottom left-hand corner. Do you know that she's a star of that, PORN? That's right. And she's very famous for a video that she did called The Witches of Breastwick. You like the Witches of Eastwick, but with boobies. Because that's the way they do these things. They take real movies and then they just make them really dumb. But yeah, it got Trump's attention. So she's actually a legit witch. A legit witch who does readings and everything else, who says that this trial and everything else is going to be biased against her because of her religion. Her religion, which is about witches. Yeah, witches. But today's the 322 day. That's the Skull and Bones day. You know, a lot of those Skull and Bones, a lot of people are connected to that. I did a video, about a month ago. If you look in the top left-hand corner, you'll see 322322. It's all about today. And if you look to the left of it, you'll see the video where I said that we're going to have some kind of a terrible financial collapse within about 2 weeks' time, which we had. It's a lot of fun being on this end. If you listen to things and you start to speculate and you look at the world, wait till you see the things that are going on now. So it doesn't look like the Trumpster is going to be arrested, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe he will be. I hope he's not. I kind of didn't want him to be because I was worried about that. But I think people are probably focused on the wrong thing. I think that maybe they should be worried about like aliens. So I made this meme. And of course, the Dan tells me, we got 1,000 people already here. Come on, hit that like. We got less than half of the people hitting the like. You have no idea how important that like button is and leaving a comment is. All that stuff, it helps me like you wouldn't believe. I'm sorry, some people are saying that the internet is freezing. Hopefully it's not me. Looks like I have good. Maybe you just got to refresh on your end. But yeah, so I created this little meme from this very famous movie called Signs. One of my famous movies that I really like a lot. And it's about the old aliens showing up. But here's a picture that I created, and of course the little child wearing the tinfoil hat is saying, "Dad, alien mothership sent probes to Earth." And of course Mel Gibson playing the father's like, "Shut up, honey. Trump's about to be arrested." Which I think is so true. So true. This was news, people. This was news. That an alien mothership could be sending probes to monitor Earth. The Pentagon said this. Thank you, Lauren Sawyer. Lauren, you impressed with me that I saw that you gave me that donation there? I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, gosh. I'm so happy that you're all here. It's so nice to be live. I want to do more live shows, but I got to tell you, I've been a little insecure and a little worried about my equipment because I'm not super well-to-do and I don't have all the high-end stuff. I have the laptop that the Dan bought for herself. It's not very expensive. I got this for Christmas. I've been having some issues with it, but it's working now. Thank God. But the Pentagon report suggests that extraterrestrial spacecraft, they're actually sending mini probes to the planet in our solar system. Dex on Twitter, he caught on to this a little while ago, and he put this out there. And I said, worse than that, it's coming from Uranus. Where do you think those probes are going? It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. Uranus, by the way, heaven in your hand. You can get it in the comments section in the description of the video. It's if you want to get some of the merch. Uranus, that planet, which is literally going down right now with a conjunction and all sorts of interesting things in space. It's actually another name for heaven. So you have heaven in your hand. Isn't that cool? All right. So the aliens, this is a big deal, but everybody's talking about Trump. You know, everybody's talking about Trump. It's like, forget the aliens. Who cares about the aliens? Nobody cares. I care. I care. You know, I shared something on Twitter. If you are new to Jacob's Ladder, will you tell me? And can I shout you out and say thank you for coming? A lot of you tell me I'm doing good. I'm looking over here. Oh, gosh, this is great. Tamara says Uranus is the throne of God. Yeah, heaven is God's throne. Very true. I shared on Twitter, Jacob Israel 71 for those that follow me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you should. I share primarily there now. I don't know, I just like it better than Facebook censors me. So it doesn't get out to everybody. Twitter seems to be, so far, seems to be the only thing that's sort of fair. So Jacob Israel 71 on Twitter. If not, just watch me on YouTube. Let's take a look at this here. I want to pull this up and I want to play something for you. So I shared this on March 20th. This footage was captured in the Gulf of Mexico. Okay? And this is a big deal. This is a big deal. But before I get into that, I got to thank Robert Vickery. Robert Vickery, wow, that's a very huge super chat. Thank you very much. Says that the Trump arrest is a distraction from CBDC FedNow. Thanks, Jacob. Love your humor. Well, I love that you love my humor. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Robert. It is a distraction. That's what this whole thing's about. This whole thing it's a distraction, a big one. So this footage right here, where you see the thing moving around, 5,600 feet underneath the ocean. It was filmed off of the ocean, a remote operated vehicle utilizing a power tether. Okay, so when you get down to those deep levels, you need a lot of electricity, you need a lot of power, right? The object that was recorded hundreds of miles away from any nearby station for remote control, and it had no tether. So this doesn't make any sense. I'm going to play this for you, and I'm going to blow it up. Now, so you got to understand something. In a second, you're going to see like a probe kind of just come through. It's not normal for this to be something that is discovered, but it's actually pretty cool that it was. At some point in time, you'll see it. I hope. As it should come through soon. I don't know what's going on here. What's going on? Is there a problem with this? Let's see. Let's see if we're going to see it. Okay, let me go back. Let me see if I can play this from the beginning again. Very strange that it's not playing all of a sudden. Weird. Let me see if I can click on it. And let's see if we can do it now. There we go. That's normal. Okay, take a look. In a second, you're going to see something that's spooky. You see that? Now watch something else. Keep watching. They turn a little bit. Now watch this. Oh, this is spooky. With the telemetry and stuff, take a look. Take a look. A little more accurately where it's this should not happen. Ask the actual pilot of the ROV. Here's the replay of it. You ready? You see that? But that's not normal. Closest people really need to know. That's not normal. That was some kind of.
Why is it significant that something
craft,
mechanical,
deep down
that deep,
operating the way it should not operate? Like easy to put that's not normal, people. Really understand. That's like spooky aliens. Spooky aliens. That's what that is. They said the person that filmed that and recorded that explained how much power it takes just to be able to capture stuff that deep down. So for something to travel on its own, it must be artificially intelligent. It must have some kind of algorithm that's powering it. But for it to be that powerful, it's beyond anything that's possible in the world. So that's spooky. You think it's spooky? I think it's spooky. I think it's weird. But everybody's focused on Trump. Everybody's focused on Trump. Here's even stranger, right? So the more I look into this, the more I start digging. Forget the fact that there's an alien mothership in the Pentagon and others are saying that it's in our solar system and it's sending probes. Let's put that aside for a second, okay? There's this like TikToker who's like supposedly, I don't know, a time traveler. Not that I'm saying I believe this stuff, people. I'm not saying I believe this stuff. I'm just saying it's weird. And this time traveler that I've talked about before, this is not the first time I've talked about this. It's not the first time I've talked about the time traveler that talks about the world and the way it's going to be. Says that 12 people are going to receive superpowers. And this is all going to happen. And that some kind of a champion is going to stand up on March 23rd. So on March 23rd, which is tomorrow, aliens are going to conquer the world according to a time traveler on TikTok. This is something that we need to talk about. Right? Look at the guy in the left-hand corner. He's like, I'm thinking this is something we need to discuss. Very, very spooky. So tomorrow, I guess the aliens they're gonna take over. I don't know if this is necessarily the truth, but the name of this time traveler is Erick, a person who claims to be a time traveler. He is revealed in one of the most popular social networks that the future of the human race is in danger. A group of aliens are going to conquer planet Earth, and he's given a couple of specific dates. Now, his dates, by the way, couple of them, some people say line up. He's given a lot of dates. I don't have time to go into it, This time traveler, he should have made it a little more simple. But I want to show you at least, I want to show you the video. And I'm going to give you a blow-by-blow of this video. Because here's the weird thing, okay? Here, you know what? Before I show you this, take a look at the shirt. God's Champion, all right? That's the new merch. By the way, I made a mistake on this one. It's only up there for a month. So if you want to get the God's Champion stuff, it's only for a month. So you got to get it now. You got to get it now. The back of it, if you take a look at the back, you see I wanted to like layer the all things are possible on top of the website and everything else. And it didn't come out that great on a coffee mug. I have the coffee mug right here. You can see. Didn't come out. But just so you know, that's art, baby. That's what happens. That's what happens. I'm drinking out of 2 teacups today. But the God's Champion shirt, I think, is really interesting. I didn't know this at the time. I got the shirt in the mail yesterday. And you know why I did this? Because, of course, Elon, he wears the Devil's Champion outfit. And we talk about Elon a lot on the show, so why not, right? Why not? We're all supposed to be God's champions, so I'm wearing the shirt. But I didn't think that I would be wearing it and talking about the champion has arrived. What is that? How strange is that? We got over 1,600 people watching. Will you do me a favor, people? Will you please hit the like? Just X out of the chat. You're not going to miss anything. I promise I'm going to be here. Just hit the like. It helps. And after the show, do me a favor and leave me a comment and tell everybody about this show. So let's watch and let's see what the time traveler has to say. Yes, I am a real time traveler and the world will still end. Just so you know, the scriptures say the world will not end. It's world without end. But this, we'll say this generation is going to come to a close and we're going to enter a new time for sure. All right, so let's see what it says. I'm a real time traveler. The world's going to end. Okay. A very hostile alien species is coming to take back the Earth. We will not win. Okay. Spooky. Another alien whose world was destroyed by the hostiles will save us. So we got lots of aliens involved here, people. We got lots of aliens involved here. This is a spooky time to be alive. But 52 Podcast says, blessings, Jacob. The Bible talks about people and unicorns, the devil being a dragon, I think space dragon, but aren't aliens demons? Yeah, they could be demons. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. But do we got like what? We got so many different aliens here? We got all these different aliens? You know who says that they're an alien? Elon Musk. Just so you know. All right, so let's keep going here. On March 23rd, okay? See, this is where we could say cap. You know that if you're a cool person and you know all the lingo, cap means you're lying. So I say cap. 8,000 people are going to be taken. I don't know how that's going to happen. Some people are going to be like, hey, 8,000 people disappeared. Some people may say it's the rapture, which we know is more than just poofing away. But this is what the TikTok time traveler says. So we should believe it. We should believe it. Why not? Yep, 8,000 people are going to be taken to a habitable planet. I don't know why, but they are. Okay, so let's move on for the rest of the show. Now that we got the aliens and we got the time travel and we got all that stuff out of the way. Just strange, just strange that all this stuff happens. Just strange that so many people are so into, I like the world the way it is now. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. Wrote about it in my novel. You know that. We're going to talk about my novel in a little while because it's very strange how it's connected to Trump. It really is. Oh, good grief. I'm just so happy that everything's working and YouTube's not messing with me. But speaking of Trump and time travelers, you know who else is a time traveler? That's right. The Trumpster's a time traveler. Isn't that right, Alan Cumby, who gave me a generous $20 super chat? Thank you very much. Donald Trump is a time traveler, supposedly. Some people think this. I know it seems very strange to a lot of people that are new to the channel, but it is no less the truth. People believe that he is a time traveler. Now, you saw the thumbnail. You saw the thumbnail 1776. That's the time, right? It's the great uprising, the great reset. The great revolution has begun. It has begun. Well, Barron just turned 17 years old. Now, Barron is just a beautiful and wonderful young man, very bright. Trump says that he can, hack into any computer, that he's a genius. Trump himself has said that he's a genius and has been tested. And guess what? His uncle sort of is a genius as well. And he's connected to Tesla, the real Tesla, not the electric car Tesla or the solar roof Tesla, not SpaceX, not Elon Musk Tesla, like the original. Weird. But yesterday is his birthday. Turned 17 years old. Now, of course, I think 17, and I think that's Trump's favorite number. How many shows have we done, right? What's the 17th letter of the alphabet? I'm not even going to say the letter. I don't even want to get hit. You know. This is getting rich, right? This is getting rich. I said, happy 17th birthday, 17? 17? 17? Wait, mind blown. Watch my show already. That was the show that I talked about earlier. Yeah, so he's like almost 7 feet tall, 17 years of age. Trump is 76 years of age. Barron Trump. Gets weirder. If you don't know, and you're new to the show, there's an entire bunch of books called the Barron Trump Collection. Travels and adventures of little Barron Trump and his wonderful dog Bulger. Barron Trump's marvelous underground journey and the last president. If you're following me on Twitter, you probably saw me say some things about Trump being like the last president. And like people are like, well, hang on a second. You said last president. I did. A while ago, he shared a little goofy little video where he was standing there and he was looking around, and you see it says Trump, and you see all the dates that he is president. And then it says Trump forever. Interesting. Which, if he is a time traveler, he could be president forever. Now, here's what's weird, is the fact that he is connected to Tesla. And there are rumors that Tesla had... Chrissy, did you know this? Thank you so much in the chat. I appreciate it. Did you know, not just that the aliens are coming, Chrissy, but did you know that people think that Tesla had a time machine? Oh, yeah, that's right. Tesla supposedly had a time machine. That's what some people say. And on January 9th, get this, 1943, 2 days after Nikola Tesla died, destitute. Could you imagine? Smartest guy around, lost everything. You know why? Because the beast system, the screwed up system, just stole everything from him. In New York City hotel, the FBI called MIT professor and esteemed electrical engineer John G. Trump to determine if any of the belongings, this is crazy, in the investor's estate, which included weapons of mass destruction, a death ray, pew, 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 stuff that you'd find in like the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, which was released by Lionsgate, which happened at the Capitol. You know, the Hunger Games, where they have these little districts, right? And they all fight in the end. And it was that the Hunger Games started because there was an uproar, because the people attacked the Capitol. Isn't that funny? And then, of course, when we began to biden our time, when that happened, because of January 6th, if you saw the inauguration, right, you could check out my video. It looked like the Hunger Games. Everybody was dressed like they were in the movie The Hunger Games, which is brought to you by Lionsgate. But let's get back to Tesla for a second. Okay, so they bring in John G. Trump to determine if any of these, things are true. Does he have a death ray? Is it going to be a problem? And after 3 days, Trump's like, no, it's okay. Everything's fine. Meanwhile, he took probably all the stuff with the time travel. Probably he's like, nothing. There was nothing there. He was just a weird guy. I had like a peanut butter sandwich that was barely eaten or something, because he died very, very destitute. It was very sad. But here we have books that were written about the last president, about Baron Trump. There's a connection to Tesla, time travel. We got a time traveler saying all sorts of things. You see why it's fun to come here and watch the show and speculate with me? Because we got a lot of weird things to talk about. 1776, the Great Reset, people. 1776. Do you know that during this revolution, this is basically in the news just a couple of days ago. So I think I don't know. If you want to look at this stuff for what it is, you start to think, wow, this is pretty cool, right? You know, somebody on Twitter posts, 1776. I say, he's 17 years old today, and Trump's 76 years old today. And then a lot of people like 1776. And meanwhile, in the news, 1776 is in the news. Now, the original 1776, it wasn't good enough. So guess what they need now? They need a revamped 1776 musical, which is making its way to Des Moines. That's in the news. Yep, that was like a week or two ago. Who knows? Losing Rose, thank you very much. I'm glad you love the show. Thank you very much. Jamie Wassemer, you're right. The 17th letter is indeed that letter. A lot of people think that letter has some kind of inside information. Some people think that that letter has to do with AI. Some people think it could have to do with the TikTok time traveler, for that matter. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know much, but I do know that during that revolution, New York City burned. And who set the fires? Who set the fires of 1776 in New York City? The fires which may be going on right about now. If you think about it, what do you think would happen? You see what's going on over there in France? They're not making the French fries. What are they doing? They're eating. You see that video going around where everybody's at the restaurant eating, and out the window you see all the fires burning? The world has gotten bonkers, hasn't it? Didn't I tell you? If you've been watching for a long time, didn't I say it was going to get ridiculous? The plot has gotten ridiculous. But that's okay, because God wins in the end. This is all working together for our good. That's why it's important to do the right thing, to be kind, to be humble. We got over 2,000 people watching. Let me tell you something. The produced shows that I do, the ones that I do with all the thing, that takes so much more work than the live shows. And it's so strange to me that the live shows get so many more views. But you know what? I'm going to go with it. I'm going to try to do more live shows if that's what you all appreciate. Because I appreciate y'all coming out for me for the 1776 Great Reset that's happening right about now. Right about now. Very strange. It's in the news. You can't say it's not in the news. Here's weird. Time travel. Weird things. There's this cool dude on TikTok. I hope you're watching Biff. Biff's Tannen's Dual Timeline. He is, it turns out this guy has, he's got a lot of interesting things to say. You know what's weird is that for a long time, I was like the only one. I felt very alone. Back in the day, if you're new to the channel, just so you know, I had a weird dream about Trump where he was in a casket and it was covered in swamp moss, but he was alive on the side. Now, this was before he lost to Biden. Whether it was legit or not, it's up to, for debate. I'm not going to go into that. But in the dream, he was laughing hysterically like, oh, everybody's going to think that, it's a joke. And so I got the vibe. And then we talked about it on the show. I said, anybody know what the swamp moss is? And they're like, it's a swamp. So I said, oh, political death. And then I kind of sort of predicted that he would be, it would look like he would lose everything. But really the whole time he was alive, laughing and dancing on the other side. But over the years, I have said, because I don't want to just say, oh, he's a terrible guy and everything else, because just because he created Operation Warp Speed and the most horrible thing that's ever come on, the planet, just because he was kind of the father of that, we don't want to, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Maybe he was used. Maybe he's going to, maybe he's going to do good. I don't know, because God's in charge. He puts people in place when they need to be in place. But I felt very alone. And I did a lot of shows and I talked about a lot of things where I said the days to come would be very interesting. I even did a string of videos where I said December 14th, 2020 would begin Jacob's time of trouble because of the two eclipses and because in between those dates was 12/11 and there was another eclipse, and turned out that's when all the craziness went down. But over the last, I guess, month or so, I have been, privileged to come across people like Biff, who is all about the Trumpster. And he has some interesting things to share on Twitter. So you can check him out. I guess he was banned for a while, but then he was brought back. But, when I reached out to him, I said, hey, did you watch my channel? He's like, no. So organically, all of the things that kind of came to me kind of came to him, which is pretty cool. But he makes a lot of comparisons to, the things that we see in movies like Back to the Future. Kitty Kitty Meow. Did you see Back to the Future? You're a witness. You support the channel. Thank you very much. Love to you as well. Back to the Future. That character Biff who was on the show, who was based on Trump. Yeah. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, You see what Biff Tannen's dual timeline says. I don't know who was based on who. Biff based on Trump or Trump based on Biff. But here's the interesting thing. Because if it's all about time travel, and if he is connected to time travel, maybe it's a thing that's going down, Which is why I really liked his tweet where it said, not for the faint of mind, where you see Keanu Reeves saying, what if Tesla did invent a time machine in another timeline, but John Trump, that's his uncle, stole it. Then he went back in time, stopped Tesla from creating it, therefore creating a new timeline where only the Trump family can time travel with a time machine from another universe. That would be the wizard, right? Upper right-hand corner. Isn't that right, Ding? Thank you very much, Ding. I appreciate the support. I'm glad that you love the show. Think about this for a second, because he does kind of look like the wizard. Let me see if I can blow this picture up so you can take a look. That's something that I have shared before, and I always thought that this was just so interesting. But do you know something? Can I remind you all of something? In the end, it was the wizard that helped Dorothy to go home. I don't want to just bury the guy because I feel like all of this stuff is suspect. There may be more. Maybe there's something going down. Maybe something good will come out of this. I don't know. We got over 2,200 people watching. Will you do me a favor? Will you hit the like? Don't forget to share this around and tell your friends. But here's the crux of the show. The crux of the matter is this Lionsgate thing. Okay, so you probably don't know, but I've been doing this a long time, and I have a website, jacobisrael.com. It's in that right there. See that right there? That lower corner? You should go there and you should subscribe. Email subscription only. It's fine. It's free. I only send stuff out once in a while to let you know when I'm going to do shows live. It's important just in case YouTube's like, we don't like you anymore, which would break my heart because I love YouTube. I love being on here with you all. But this Lionsgate thing, for some reason I woke up this morning and I was thinking about this Lionsgate thing. It was very strange. I didn't know why. But then I saw somebody on Twitter, @JacobMe, and there was a video underneath. And the video linked to Stephen. He was the very first Christian martyr. Stephen, the very first Christian martyr. Basically, Paul, the Apostle Paul, who was Saul, he was a Pharisee of Pharisees. He kind of had something to do with Stephen being put to death. They stoned him to death. So he was kind of like the first. And where he was put to death was a place called Lionsgate. It's weird, right? Weirder still, a dream that I had back in 2015, which seems to legitimately paint the picture of today. January 6th, the Biden laptop, Trump, all of that stuff. I'll show you in a second. It's so weird. So weird. That's why I knew that essay that I wrote was important. I never changed it. But there was something about Lionsgate. It's even in my novel, Lionsgate, because when I grew up, there was this place called Lyons Avenue, and we used to walk through these woods to cut through. I was a latchkey kid. I was a poor kid growing up in a relatively wealthy town, but I was in the armpit of it, right on Portchester, New York side, and started out in the projects. But I was a latchkey kid. We rented, and I would walk to school, and I would cut through the woods, the Lion Avenue woods. But in the book, it's called Lion's Belt, Lionsgate. It's a place to get to the school. Very interesting. If you haven't gotten a copy of The Calling, you really should, because there's a story within a story there, and it's an important novel. But this morning I woke up and I was thinking about Stephen, I was thinking about Lionsgate, and so I shared this out because I went and I quickly Googled Lionsgate just to see what was going on, and they got a new movie coming out called Ordinary Angels, which I think is so cool. Ordinary Angels, okay? Lionsgate Films, which also did The Hunger Games, is coming out with a movie called Ordinary Angels. Get this, that movie is going head to head with The Exorcist. I think it's interesting. But at the same time, so I write to everybody and I say, huge breadcrumb, help me find out what this means. Stevensgate, hashtag Lionsgate. Can you hear what the Holy Spirit is saying? Because I felt like this was an important message. I just didn't know exactly what it meant until now, which I think is so incredibly beautiful. Because it seems that this Lionsgate portal already opened up. Now, what's weird is I had talked about this last year, but Biff Tannen, the cool dude on Twitter that now I'm in touch with, he responded. I guess he had actually put out a tweet the same day about the same thing. Very strange. He said that the Lionsgate portal opened on 8/8/2022. 8/8/2022 is a big deal, right? Those are those numbers. 88. 88's like the eighth letter of the alphabet. Some people say it's like hate speech. 22 has to do with duality. 22 is everywhere. Elon was wearing 22. The tennis player was wearing 22. 88 and 22. Lionsgate opening. The day Trump was raided. What is the Lionsgate portal 2022? And here's weird, right? So Trump literally has or had homes called the Lion Estates. And in Back to the Future, that movie, here, let me see, I'll blow this up so you can see. Okay? So here's the old Trump homes. Okay? And now here is Back to the Future. Weird. Weird, right? Doesn't that seem strange? I think it seems strange. But no more strange than the day that we're in right now. Because if a Lion's Gate is open, right? See, here's the thing. Because in my dream, there was a Lion's Gate. Which is weird. Called Laish, of all things. But the movie Lionsgate dates Ordinary Angels, starring Hilary Swank and Alan Ritchson. The film is now set to debut against the continuation of the horror classic The Exorcist. Wild. Now, on Twitter, I put this out to everybody, and Granny Grits, I hope you're watching, Granny. I told her to dig deep. She did some research, right? And so she found out that on August 8th, Lionsgate is the melding of two cosmic energies. The star Sirius coming into alignment with Earth. Sirius is the dog star, the Doge star, the EGOT, just so you know. And the sun exerting its influence from its ruling sign, Leo. Very strange. Very strange. Let me say something to you, Gary Hunt, in the comments section. Gary Hunt is saying, I can't believe you love Trump so much. What happened to... I don't love Trump, like, at all. I've been warning everybody about Trump. I'm worried about Trump. I'm just hoping that God has a plan. I'm hoping that God has a plan. Because you never know. You know, God brings bad people to bring correction. He brought Nebuchadnezzar in to Egypt. He brought Nebuchadnezzar. And who is Donald Trump? He's Nebuchadnezzar. It's no joke. Okay, so listen, let's take a look at my essay so that everybody can get a little idea of what I'm talking about from back in the day. This is from 2015, everyone. Thank you, Troy Johnson. I love that I'm not missing anybody, because sometimes I miss people, and I hate when I miss you if you're going to support the channel and I miss you. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate the support. So listen, so I wrote this essay September 28th, 2015, and it was kind of a follow-up to another essay that I wrote earlier, but then I had this weird dream. Now, in this weird dream, I dreamed of a domed building that I felt was very important. Now, I couldn't think of a domed building. I don't know why I didn't think of the Capitol, but there was a domed building, and I thought maybe it was this one. I just knew that I was standing on a holy place, and I found myself standing in Israel. That's what I thought at the time. I didn't know. Thousands of people were behind gates all around me. I was standing in the center of it all. In front of me was a huge statue, which reminded me of Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So look at that statue. Do you remember the Trump statue? Do you remember when he had the magic wand? Because MAGA, by the way, in Latin does mean witch, and it's the highest form of Satanism. Just like to point these things out. But Nebuchadnezzar's dream, you know, the different kingdoms. The last kingdom, iron and potter's clay, which doesn't mix well. That would be the kingdom that we're in right now. But I saw Nebuchadnezzar falling, if you will. And I stood in the center of this open air plaza. Now, now that January 6th happened, it's pretty clear to me that this is probably where I was standing in the dream. People were anxious to see the presentation. Now, this is where it gets weird, because, of course, what's going on now, right? Do you remember the guy with the horns? The shaman? We've done shows on the shaman. You know, a shaman is like a wizard. He's like a witch. He's like, I'm not going to put down medicine men and all that stuff, but that's what shamans are known for, witchcraft, right? I understood in the dream that everyone was there to watch what in Christianity would call witchcraft, as the presentation was hairy hair, which is symbolic of, the carnal man, because hair is the farthest thing into the world that we have. Potter, which is potter's clay. 3, which was the movie in the dream for some reason people were going to see, but that's a Prisoner of Azkaban. All right? Has to do with werewolves too, by the way. Wolves, werewolf, I believe. And I just did a bunch of shows about wolves. But I remember thinking that the spirit of rebellion is witchcraft. And I was told by someone I didn't see that the statue was called Laish. And it meant lion in the dream. This was at the Lionsgate. Next, I realized that I didn't have my wallet. Could you imagine? I opened my wallet in the dream. There was nothing there. And we just had like a financial issue. I think it's just so cool. At that point, the gates came down. Everyone started running around chaotically. They ran towards the dome building. As I walked away, I found a reader of mine who was carrying a briefcase that opened up, and it looked very much like a bright red. You see it. I was told by the man that it was a bong. Who do we know that has a laptop that could be compared to a bong? That would be Hunter Biden. That's right. John Red says Biden is Dumbledore. Who knows? Who knows? But you think about this stuff, it's very strange. So there was ironically, it was called The New Sussman, and there was actually a story that had to do with this. But this dream has been haunting me. I mean, back then I was like, I was telling everybody the world was going to go crazy. Like famine, wildfires, war, disease, more. It was like, this is not good times. Not good times. Now, you know what's ironic is back then, I was just starting to be taken seriously. people were starting to take me seriously as like a theologian, because my essays were starting to make the rounds, and people were starting to see that maybe there was more to the scriptures than they'd been told, that there are like, churches. And I'd just been invited to go speak. I went to this great place in Atlanta, and I spoke there, and I was excited. But then I had this dream, and then I started telling people about this, and all of a sudden, like, all the people that thought that I was maybe onto something, they said, oh, he's a fearmonger, he's crazy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, things are good. Now here we are. They have yet to apologize, but here we are. We're in a very interesting time. Lionsgate, layish, very weird. So, Lionsgate, just so you know, has to do with the very first Christian martyr, Stephen. It's very sad. And by the way, we got over 2,200 people watching. Please do me a favor, hit the like. X out of chat right now and just hit the like for me. It'll get more people here. So when we round out the show with the best part of the show, no one will miss anything. It's very helpful, and I really do appreciate it. So here's the thing. Saint Stephen was put to death. There's a literal place called Lionsgate. Literal. It's literal. Let me blow this up so you can read it. It's actually, you can go visit it. You can go visit it if you want. All right, here we go. The start of the traditional Christian observance of the last walk of Jesus. So Lionsgate has to do with Jesus walking to his crucifixion? Lionsgate has to do with persecution coming to the church, to the Christians? Say it ain't so, Jacob. It's so. It's so. I can't say it's not so. It's so. This is what's coming, people. This is what's coming. So, carved into the wall above the gate are 4 lions, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. This is a big deal because the walk from prison to crucifixion begins at Lionsgate. We've been in prison. We're supposed to be crucified with Christ. Is it so far-fetched to think that there's nothing new under the sun and that we may face such persecution again? Do you think it's out of the realm of possibility? Well, I say no, my friends, because in Israel, guess what's going down? 2 Knesset members have proposed legislation to outlaw the sharing of the gospel. That's disturbing. That's a real bummer. Is it possible the Israeli government this year could pass legislation making it illegal for people to share the gospel of Christ? Unfortunately, yes. The article reads, even as Palm Sunday and Easter approaches, the 2 most sacred days in the calendar for those who follow Jesus as both God and Messiah, 2 members of the Knesset, that's Israel's parliament, just so you know, they introduced a bill last week that would ban any and all efforts for people to talk about Jesus. The bill would send violators to prison. Prison. Did you hear that? You will go to jail if you talk about Christ. That's not cool, dude. It's not cool. It's not cool. But I'm not that concerned, just so you know. Because, there's nothing new under the sun. Whatever has been, will be. And we are in the apocalypse, if you will. An apocalypse just means unveiling. It's not anything that's that terrible, But I'll tell you one thing, I'm excited about the Netflix Waco series that's coming out. Who has heard about this in the live chat? Tell me. Stephen Morris says the Noahide laws are coming. A lot of people have been talking about that for a long time. It's not something that I talk about. But, who knows? I think that the Hulu show Handmaid's Tale, I think it was very telling. And I think that, as Zach says, I'm already in prison. Many people are in prison. So maybe it's time to leave prison. Maybe it's time to be crucified and to rise again. Because I think that that's what's going to come. I think we're entering into a time of victory, not defeat. So while everybody's so stressed out and, crying and carrying on and like, oh, it's so terrible, everything's so bad, I say to you people, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be all right. Don't get so sad. Don't worry just because Waco's in the news. Make America Great Again rally in Waco, Texas. That's coming up. At the same time, Netflix revisits Americans' ghastliest cult catastrophe called The American Apocalypse. David Koresh. Some people said that he had a thing for children. Terrible. Isn't that the way cults are, though? Cult leaders are crazy. Like, I don't want to have a bunch of followers and everything else. You don't even know my last name. I'm going to reveal my coat of arms, though, my literal last name, because God gave me the last name Israel. He said, you'll no longer be called your last name that your stepfather gave you. You will now be called Israel. And so will you, because that's the day we're in. God is so good. Things are so good. It's exciting to be alive. We got aliens. We got robots. We got AI. We got craziness. And we got YouTube, thank God. We got me. So hit the like button and share the channel around and tell your friends. Because the thing that went down with Stephen is, for Stephen, he wasn't too scared. He was facing death and he saw Christ standing next to the Father. He saw Christ standing, not seated. Like usually, Christ is seated on the throne. This time he's engaged. He's standing. He's ready to act. He's ready to act. And why wouldn't you act? Let's just take a quick look at this. Let me see if I pulled it up. I don't even know if I did. So this is right before he's put to death. And he wants to remind everybody, as I want to remind all of you, that there was a guy named Abraham, and God said, you got to get out of there. You got to go somewhere else. And he did. There was a guy named Jacob and Isaac. And God said, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they did. There was a guy named Moses and a guy named Joseph. And God said, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they did. Every step of the way, the people in this world, they ignored God. But every step of the way, God delivered. And God's not going to stop now. He didn't stop with Abraham. He didn't stop with Joseph. He didn't stop with Moses. And he most certainly is not going to stop with Jesus. If you want to read this account, it's in Acts 17. And this was basically Stephen going through. It's like, listen, you all are supposed to know this stuff. And he explained everything. How their hearts had been hardened again and again and again. And they didn't listen. And they still picked up stones to put him to death. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them, which showed before the coming of the just one, the champion, God's champion. By the way, the time traveler even said the champion's showing up, of whom you have been now betrayers and murderers. He's talking about Christ. Who have received the law by angels and not kept it. When they heard these things, they were cut to their heart. They gnashed on him with their teeth. That's basically like they screamed at him. They swore at him. They said, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That's the gnashing of teeth that's found in hell, ignorance. But he, Stephen, at the Lion's Gate, being full of the Holy Ghost, looked up steadfastly into heaven, and he saw the glory of God and Jesus standing, not sitting, standing on the right hand of God. And Stephen said, behold, I see the heavens opened, and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of God. Then they cried out with a loud voice and stopped their ears. They didn't want to listen. And ran up on Stephen with one accord. And they cast him out of the city and they stoned him. And the witnesses of this, they laid down their clothes at the young man's feet, who was named Saul, who later, by the way, was humbled and was awakened. His other name, according to the Romans, was Paul, by the way. And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God and saying, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit, he said. And he kneeled down, he cried with a loud voice, lay not this sin to them. And when he said this, he fell asleep. And that's the day we're in, people. That's the day we're in. A couple of years ago, right before the Notre Dame Cathedral burnt down, which, by the way, the only thing they saved was a crown of thorns, ironically enough. They paraded all the saints that were statues that were beheaded. It's going to be an interesting time, my friends. It's going to be an interesting time. I'm excited. Shh, you all should be excited too. We can't lose. We can't lose. Why? Because God's champion is with us. That's right. So, pray, be kind, be patient, and don't get stressed. This is the most amazing time for us all to be alive. Listen to that inside voice. Don't listen to everybody on the outside. Go to God. God will give you the answers. All right, listen. I hope that this was a fun show. I'm so happy to see so many people watching. Thank you for leaving a like. Thank you for commenting. If you want to get yourself any of the merch, everything's in the description of the video. If you want to get yourself a copy of The Calling, it's in the description of the video. You can get it on Amazon. Read a bunch of reviews, like 1,000 reviews, just for the paperback alone. Awesome novel. Awesome day we're in. Awesome that all of you are part of the Israelites. My family, I love you all so much. Thank you so much. Have the best day ever. And I'll talk to you soon. All right? Bye-bye.